All right, so we're going to take a look at we're going to review the first part of romance today, and then we're going to take a look at the second part of it. And there we go. I've pulled up the copy that I have with the notes on it that I put on the website. I didn't add any notes to this one that we're going to look at today because I want to put the notes on it as we go, just so it makes sense for you guys. And I think it'll be good fun. All right, so I'm going to start off by just playing the first section of romance. I'm going to play it twice, and then so with the repeats, right? One time, like the first time I'll play it without sharing the screen. The second time I'll share the screen so you guys can listen, watch my hand position, think of any questions you might have. Then I share, and then we'll have some, we'll stop for questions, okay? So the first part here, I'm doing this. You don't have to play that bass note. You can do all strings 1, 2, 3. Okay? Usually what I do when I play the first time is on that last measure, before I forget, because I don't have it written in because I just do it and I didn't even think of writing it in on my copy, I strum the chord, 1, and then second string open, 2, 3, and then away I go again. So I kind of bounce, right? I'm like, now, what'll I do? Oh yeah! And I spin back around into it. Now let me just share that screen so we can go through it now. Looking at it, everyone see the screen? Yeah, okay. All right, so I'll play it again. I'm barring on the 5th fret there. Now I'm on that little B flat to G7 shape. And then back I go. Line 4, I'm on that E7. Now I'm going to stop there. I've got someone that's coming in. There we go. Okay, so I didn't count us in or anything. I just wanted to play through so that you guys could hear everything. Some notes that I feel like I probably should have put in there. Okay, so this is an E7 down here as well, right? Although I think we knew that from last week. I've got really skinny marker. There we go. And the other change that I did, I decided to keep it from last week when I talked about changing what I do at the very end here with where my little mouse is with the 2-9-5. I've decided that I like the sound of 2 playing that 2nd fret, and then the 1st string open, 2nd string open. I'm going to keep this. But then my mood changes, so I might change it again in 6 months. Who knows? But that's where I added in those little opens in there as well. So the only other thing that really I would do to kind of keep that feeling going is I would play beat 1, open chord at the end, and then do it second string, open, and then one more time. And that's just the first time through, because that gives you the chance to get yourself ready. It sounds like it's not finished then, right? You want to keep that section going. Okay, so any questions or observations about your playing of that first section this week? No? Okay. Things to note. I'll just talk about some things that come to mind for me with it while I'm talking about it here. That shape, on the third line, the B flat shape versus the G7 shape. Just keep in mind that you can pivot your hand. If you're making the little B flat shape here with the 7, 7, 8, index finger might be squishing those two down. You might have a different configuration too, and that's okay. But you can use the second string note as a pivot point. I'm just going to stop sharing so I can show you what I mean. So you've got this shape here, that little baby B flat. I use this part of my fingertip as my pivot point. So I still hang on. I've still got my finger down there. And I just lay it back down in place. Now if you've got the whole shebang going across there, then when you do that, if you've decided you want to add in that bass note, see how I tip my whole hand back? I go like that to accommodate that space. So don't feel like you got to keep your hand all crushed into this place here. And I've even got my concert right now to further demonstrate that, you know, you've got different sizes of instruments. Work with the size you've got, with the hands you've got, right? Make it make sense for you. And it may even be, see how I hop my finger back and forth like that? That's okay. Okay, those sorts of sections that are challenging, they're not going to be perfect overnight, and it's about the process. It's about practicing new skills, and we're not looking for, perfection. We're looking for you to gain skills that you can use in other songs, and so you can enjoy yourself playing this stuff and doing things that are a little bit different, right? Okay, so let me think now. Okay, I feel like I just want to move into the B section now. Now, I want to talk a little bit about that. It's in the key of A major. The first section was in A minor. Now into A major. It's going to be stretchy. Okay, it's going to be stretchy. I'm going to go through it and play it, and then I'll share it, and we'll take a look at what's going on here. I play the bass note at the beginning there. You do not have to. Just remember, you can do all of it just with 3 strings. So if you're starting section B with 3 strings, I'm going to start it like that. I'm not going to play that bass note. You could take a look at this and see how it there's a little bit of a common ground there, like between that C chord and the shape you're doing here. The notes you're playing are C sharp, E, C sharp. And you might be like, well, it's not a full A chord, Tina. It's okay. So you got the 4s and then 4, 2, O. So the same pattern, first bar, you've got the same repeated note and then a traveling bar, right? Okay, enough talking, I'll play. All right, here we go on the first bar. And then you travel, 4, 2, O. Now, as I do that O, that last arpeggio, I shift my finger up to the 2nd fret on that 3rd string, because you've got to move down string sets. So now we're going to use strings 4, 3, and 2 instead of 3, 2, 1. Okay, so this is decorating an E7 chord. Now you might be like, okay, what? But look at this. If you move these fingers down here, that makes your D7. You move, and put a finger here. It becomes a little E7. So it's kind of neat. So then you've got a little bit of, options for playing different chords. So you start off by doing a little decoration of that chord. You go 5, then shift down, 4, 4, and see how I'm getting my middle finger hovering? I'm going 4, and then pinky comes up, middle goes down, and I've got my 3rd fret covered, and then back up. There's going to be a lot of that in this section. It's very teeter-tottery. So after that, you go up. You can decide if you want to bar all the way across or if you want to do this. Okay, I'm going to do this to start. Okay, and this shape here that you're on, this 9, 7, 8, to bring it to something familiar. Let's see. What have we got here? We've got, it's a little bit of a minor 7 shape, like a D minor 7. Looks almost like a G7, but with that ring finger pushed up. Okay. We're looking at other qualities, really, of an E7 chord up here. That's what we got. Okay, so we're sitting there on that 9, 7, 8. Just like before, we've got one measure where you're playing that same note. Now we're going to go 9, 11, back to 9. Now in order to stretch, you might have to do this. You might have to let go with your ring finger in order to stretch up to that 11th fret. That's fine. Okay, let's try it. So we've got 9, 7, 8. I'm going to do it those 3 times again. And then 9. Big stretch up to that 11th fret, keeping these guys down if you can. Back to the 9th fret. And again, just like the first part, like you may have to do this to get by, because I know that it's taking me a while to get my hands stretchy enough, flexible, and relaxed enough to do things like this. So I've played this, so I've done my 9, 7, 8. Now the next thing you got cooking is 3 9s in a row. Whatever you do, it's a good idea to have a finger ready for that 7th fret that comes next, because you've got this. You've got 9, and then a 7, 9, 9. See how I've got those other fingers there still? You do it again. One more 7, 9, and then this weird one. Look how I kicked up my finger like a little kickstand there, right? I can't always do that. Sometimes I have to change my fingering. Depends on how angry my hand is with me, but there it is. So I've got this set up for all the 9s. That allows me to have my pointer finger back here for the 7, back to the 9, and then I go boop, like that. Or I go boop, and I change my fingering completely. That's okay. That's okay because of what's coming up in the next measure. So I've got this. I'll do a little retract. So 7, 9, 11, or whatever gets you there. And then on the next line, I go right up to this bar chord. Okay. So it's 12, 9, 9. Sometimes people are flexible enough, they want to do it like that instead. I would encourage you, if you can, to do the bar chord. You don't have to apply pressure all the way along. This is the thing, because this particular little 3-string bar chord, you're covering the 12th fret, 9th, and 9th. So what that means is that you can really use that first part of your finger right there and just cover the 2 strings with that. Strings 2 and 3. You mush it down there. And it's pretty comfortable. I've got my thumb on an angle opposite that. There we go. But I'm not worrying about applying pressure on that first string at all. Just there. Just strings 2 and 3. Because this finger's dealing with the first string. Okay? So don't feel like you gotta like clamp it all down as hard as you can. You don't have to. It's a bit more relaxed than you think. Now that's treating it specifically as a 3-string bar chord, and it's a nice way to start it. So then I'm on my 12th fret there, doing this, and this next part's really cool. So you've got this 12, 11, 10. So you're hitting all these different sounds, right? They're all qualities of an A chord. You've got A major 7, A7, and I'll write them down on there as we go. Okay, and then from there, I did this little position change. So I was here, and that's with the 10, 9, 9. In order to get through to the next part here, what I do is I do a quick hop, and I put my pinky on that 9th fret. Now I'll share the screen after I've talked you through all this, right? 9, 5, and then 6. So I spread myself out, but I lay my fingers as I play it. So I don't rush from doing this to that as fast as I can. I just try to relax with it. So I've got this. And just lay them as I go. That's the glory of finger picking, right? Just you can lay down your fingers purposefully and just relax with them. So the trick here is that it is stretchy, right? The bigger the frets get, the stretchier it is. So you might have to do this. That's okay. And then you get to a 7, 5, 6. 5, 5, 6 comes at the end there. Which is the same thing that you did in the first section, up on the 7th fret, right? Now you've got this kind of wonky looking thing. 4, 4, 2. On the bottom line. 4, 5. And then I do a little bar there. Like that. These are all little bits of an E7 chord, again, without having the note E in it. Okay, so I'm going to share that screen now. There we go. Okay, so here we are, section B. The first chord that we're playing is an A chord, A major. Now, if you just sit and play that, it sounds kind of cool. So you never know, you may wind up using that particular configuration of an A chord in a song, right? You never know. So that's where it can be pretty fun to play around with this sort of stuff. And we've got 2 measures of A and then like A-ish going to bits of an E7. And the notes vary within that. But the overarching feel of it is E7. Okay. Now you don't need a total chromatic or an analysis of the song, but it can help for sure. Okay, let's play the beginning of section B, nice and slow. You decide if you want to hit that 4th string bass note there or not. I'm not going to right now. I'm just going to play strings 1, 2, 3. I've got my pinky on the 4th fret. And my pointer finger on the 1st fret of the 3rd string there. Okay, here we go. 4, 0, 1, 4. Okay, now the next measure, so we've got 4, and then 2, still keeping that pointer finger down on the 3rd string, right on. Okay. At this point now we can shift our pointer finger up to fret 2, and then we're going to lay our other fingers down around it. Okay, so because the first note I'm playing is the 5th fret there, I make sure I lay that one down right away. Now my picking, you can decide if you want to use your thumb on that 4th string, or if you want to move all your fingers down. See what feels right for you in terms of still effectively bringing out the melody. Okay, I'm going to use my middle finger. I'm just going to go for it. So now I'm going to play 5, 2, 4. Okay, so that 4th fret there, that's your B, and it's just going to sit there. So let's do that one again. 5. And then you're going to slide that finger back from your 5th fret to your 4th. So it's not quite as stretchy now. Yeah, right on. Here we go. 4, another 4. Okay, so next measure now, so another 4. Repeating just like we did in the first part. Now middle finger goes down. Good. And pinky goes back down onto that 4th fret. There's a lot of teeter-tottering in there, right? Okay, give your hands a rest for a second. I'm going to play that first line just so you can hear the color that happens in it. So there's the A, and then we kind of move A, so let's do A, and then from there, it's pretty, hey? This note here at the end of measure 2, that one that got my arrow hovering around, that note is an A. And at the beginning of the next measure, that 5th fret note is also an A. So that melody carries forward, but they've put it on the 5th fret there so that the tone flows nicely in those 2 bars. I guess it's me. I've done that, so it does that. Okay, let's try the next line. Okay, so 9, 7, 8. Looks kind of weird. So this is going to be another, I'm just going to call it another quality of the E7 chord. Okay. That'll probably make it the easiest way to think of it. So I'm not going to worry about barring. I'm just going to lay down my fingers as I need them for the 9, 7, 8. Okay, so I've got my ring finger on my 9th fret, and index and middle are taking care of the 7 and 8. Okay, here we go. And I just have my thumb resting on my 4th string right now. It's very comfy. Okay, and then I'm going to reach up high to that 11th fret. I might have to tuck my elbow in on my fretting hand in order to reach it comfortably. And then back to my 9th fret. And remember, you can always take your fingers off if you need to, right? To realign yourself for that 11, 7, 8. Now we've got 3 in a row across that 9th fret. Hopefully you've got a finger set aside, your pointer finger for that 7th fret that's coming. Here we go. 9. And now I'm going to pivot. I'm going to take my pinky finger off my 9th fret and just reach back for that 7th fret. I'm going to stay there. Might have to kind of rearrange my fingers on those 9th frets. One more. Okay, and now I'm putting my pinky back down on that 9th fret. And now I've got to reach up for that 11th fret. Might have to readjust my fingers. Okay, let's stop there for a second. And I'll play that line. Okay, and I'll just kind of talk my way through it as I go. Okay, so back on that 9, 7, 8. Pretty comfy. It's a nice spot of the ukulele to play that 7th fret because my hand comes straight back, like I don't feel like I've got to wiggle it around at all. Here we go on the 9. So as I get comfortable playing, you can hear I'm going like loud, quiet, quiet to help bring out the melody. And when I reach for that 11, remember, I might lift up my other two fingers and then just replace them just before I play them. And this, the trick of trying to use your pinky finger on that 9th fret there to start off the 3 in a row, it's really handy, but you may have to adjust as you go, you know, and find a spot to change those fingers. That's okay. I want you to see how I move my hand going in this measure, actually, because I think it's... So I'm sitting here. I've got my 3 in a row there. Now, when I play this song, I often have the head of my ukulele up pretty high. Sometimes down like this, but I tend to like having it up high because I find it a little bit easier for me to see what I'm doing and to sit comfortably when I play. Everyone's body is a bit different though, right? But as I play with that 9th fret, see how my fingers shift a little bit out of position there? So I have to tuck them back in. I get the 9th, and then I just kind of realign these two guys. Okay, so I go from here, and I can realign them just as I'm playing that 7. You'll see me do kind of like this, like a little twitch when I'm doing that. And I'm just making sure that they're not over top of the fret. I just do a little, pull them back a little bit, okay? And you'll often, I'm trying to over-exaggerate it a little bit here, but 9th fret to 11, my elbow will tuck into my body a little bit there, and quite often you'll see the shoulder come down just a little bit, or it looks like I'm flexing my arm down a bit. That's so that I don't have my wing, right? I don't need a wing to fly here. So I go like that, tuck it down. That tends to provide support for me on this side of my body, okay? Because pinky is not strong, and I've complained enough about it. You know, this pinky's a little angry. It needs some help. So I give it the help it needs. Squeaky wheel gets the grease, you betcha. And this gives me a chance to really take a look and make sure that my finger's not over top of the fret like it was that first time I played it. So yeah, and it looks very I look very almost stylized, right, while I'm playing that because of all the different positions I'm in, like very classical looking, but I'm not there for long. And then I do a little hop down here. And you guys might find this bar shape here a little easier to deal with than all the configurations here. I do anyway. Okay, let me go back to that. There we go. I find now I'm taking a look at the second line from the bottom where we go into the barring, and I find that easier because things, I'm not pivoting my hand, I'm just lifting and putting down fingers, right? So I'm going to bar. Again, I'm just looking at the 3 strings. So let's do the bar on the 9th fret there. And we're on that 12th fret. And one more 12. So that's your A chord, A major 7, 10th fret for A7. Or you just think 12, 11, 10. That's totally cool. So we were there. And then I'm going to make a position change. My pointer or my pinky, or if you've got huge hands and you can do it, your ring finger lands on the 9th fret there just by the highlighter mark that I put there on purpose so I'd remember to do that. Okay, and then I reach back again with index and middle. They're the heavy lifters here. And then 5, 6, 9, 5, 6. Okay. Now we're going to put ring finger down on that 7th fret. And at this point we can drop into just a little bar. It's like the baby B flat bar. Okay, let's finish it off. Head on down to that bottom line there. I've got my my pinky and my ring finger together to play that 4th fret there to decorate that E7 chord. Index on the 2nd fret there on string 3. One more there. Now we're in the next measure, so again one more. 4, stretch up to that 5th fret, right on. See if you can come down into a weird little bar, the 2-4-2 bar. Yeah, right on. And now we make, oh my gosh, a normal A chord. What? Just make sure it's A major. Yeah, good. Shift your, go right on up to that 9th fret. That little blob's a 9. And you go 9, and then string 1, and then 2. Then 6th fret. Down to your A major chord. Strum down with your thumb. Remember, parallel to the frets, choose the tone you want to have and commit to it. I'm going to go through this again from section B there, right at the beginning of section B, and play through it. And I'll try not to stop this time. I'll just go slow and steady through it. But first, let's give ourselves a little stretch. I think that might be a good... Oh my gosh, it feels so good. So, well, we're having a quick little stretch, just gotta say. I was playing at a place on our North Shore yesterday, and one of my Mother Goose families was there, so we sang Roly Poly, and it was lovely. All right, here we go. The beginning of section B, nice and relaxed, okay? And I'll just call out the first, like the melody note, okay? So just the 4, right? Okay, here we go. 4, 4, 4. Next measure. 4, 2. Now open. Good. Okay, I'm going to wait for a second to get ready for that next bar. Good, we're in it. 5, 4, 4. Last bar of that line, so 4, 3, whoops, 4. Okay, next line. You decide if you want to bar across from to the 7th fret or just play those 3 string notes. Here we go. 9, 9, 9. Okay, we're in the next measure now. So 9, big stretch up to 11, back down to 9. Okay, now we're going to wait a second for everyone to get their ducks in a row on the 9. Okay, here we go. 9. Okay, now down to the 7. Another 7. One more 7. We're coming to the end of that line. 9. 11. I often slow down for just a little bit there and then take a breath and get going on the next part. Okay, so now we're just where my little arrow is here, my little marker thing there. Second line from the bottom, barring on the 9th fret. Here we go. 12, 12, one more 12. Okay, so next measure, now we're going to travel. 12, 11, 10, and now we're going to stretch. We've got our 9. Lay down the fingers as you need them. 9, 9. Okay, next bar there. 9, 7. Good, and lay down into that little tiny bar there. 5. Good. Okay, now we're down on the 4, 4, 2. I'm going to wait for a second for people to get lined up there on that last line. Yeah, good. Okay, here we go. 4, 4, 4. Next bar is 4, 5, 2. 4. Stretch up to 5. Weird little bar. 2. Yeah, good. Okay, and now we're on making just the normal A chord there. Up to the 9th fret. 6th fret. A strum. those last two measures, you can decorate them any which way you choose, right? You could do, really, you know, there's so many different arrangements of it. Who's to say you can't make your own? What I did that time was, instead of playing, I'll show you what I did. I did not play that or that. I treated the first little bit here as one beat each, and then just strummed the A. I made my A and went boom, 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 strum. And why not, right? And in fact, you could do that very same thing at the end of the A section, right? I'll mark it up just so you can see, but I won't keep that in there just because it'll be like kind of hodgepodgery after a while. Do you guys see where I am? I'm at the end of the fourth line there. So you could just get rid of all that stuff I put in the brackets and treat these guys each as one beat. So then you'd be like this, right? In the end, you're looking for a way to outline either your A major chord, or sorry, A minor chord at the end of the first section, or A major at the end of the second section. So you can decide. I mean, I've just taken the copy that I work with, you know, and plopped it online for you guys. So you make it work for you. You do exactly what feels right for you, okay? I think I'll leave that optional idea here at the end though, hey? Oh, I don't know if I can write all that in there. You're liking my color palette, right? I'm trying to hit all the marker colors. I'm having so much fun with them. Oops. I'll just say optional. There's so many things that are optional in life, right? This is one of them. Opt. There. Now, this song is written in ternary form. You're going to turn around after you're done playing through the A major part, and you're going to finish with section A, which is kind of nice. You go play the A minor part a couple of times, or play it as a standalone. The A major part, play through it a couple of times, and then go back to A minor, the first part, play through that again, like bookends. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to sit and I'm going to go through the whole thing. It's not going to be fast. Well, and I'll tell you guys where I'm at when I'm going there, you know. We'll just see what happens, hey? We'll repeat both parts. And the last time we play section A, we'll just play it one time. Okay. All right, here we go at the very beginning. It's like we're all sitting in a restaurant together entertaining people, right? Playing romance. It's so good. All right, you guys ready? The dinner music crew? Let's do this. Here we go. Section A right at the beginning. Here we go. Up on that 7th fret. 7, 7. Okay, now we're moving. 7, 5, 3. 5, 3. Okay, next bar is 3, 2, 0. I'm ignoring bass notes right now. End of the first line, 0, 3, 7. I'm going to slow down here a little bit. Everyone on the 12th fret? Okay, let's go. 12. Another 12. Now we move. 12, 10, 8. 10. Okay, now we're going to lay ourselves down in that little tiny bar, 8-5-5. Here we go. For our F, F major 7. So fancy. Now all fives. All fives again. Just 7. So now we're ending that second line. Here's the beginning of the third line with our baby B flat. Pivot there. Back to that little B flat. Big stretch. 8. Whoops. I muffed it. But the world didn't end. Right? It's okay. Now we're here with the 7-5-3. Here we go. 7. 5. 3. 3. 2. Right on. Open. Okay, next line. 202. You're right on. Okay, next bar is 2-3-2. 2. 3. 2. Okay, now we're at the ending. I'm just going to point where we are right here with my little arrow. Right, the ending of line 4 is where we are. So 2. I'm still going to do the 9-0-0 up here. 5. A little strum on A minor. Pluck that open string a couple times if you want. And if you say, well, why is she plucking that second string open? That's because that note is in E. And if you want the A minor to sound like really, you know what it comes down to is there's the E7 to A minor sound is echoed by going. It gives it a really solid sound. All right, back to dinner music, okay? To the beginning of that section A, so very top. Here we go. 7. Next line, 7-5-3. Sorry, next bar. 3-2-0 now. 2. Here goes open. 0-3-7. Ready on the 12th fret? Here we go. Okay, now 12, 10, 8. And now you can lay down into that little bar on that 5th fret. 7. All fives. Another 5. Cruising back up your 7. 8. Okay, now next line where we've got the 7-7-8 for the little B flat. Here we go. 7. Shift for that 8. Back down to 7. And that stretch up to 11. Back down to 8. 7-7-8 with the baby B flat. We're home free at the end of that third line on the 7-5-3. 3. Coming to the end of the third line there. Okay, beginning of line 4 with that E7. Okay, now we're going to play that again. Add in that 3rd fret. Right on. Okay, here we go. 2 to 9th fret. 5th fret. Strum on A minor. Okay. Now we're going to move into section B. Here we go. I've got my pinky on my 4th fret, my index finger on my 1st fret, string 3. I'm still just ignoring my 4th string. Everyone ready? Looks like it. Okay, here we go. 4. Okay, next bar is going to be 4, 2, open. 4, 2, open. Shift your index finger up to that 2nd fret and lay your pinky down on the 5th fret on that 2nd string. And I've got my ring finger down on fret 4, string 4, all stretched out there, making a type of E7. Here we go. 5, down to the 4th fret. Okay, now again with the 4th fret. Then 3, good, back to 4th. Now we're going to move on to the next line, so that's line number 6. We've got our frets are 9, 7, and 8. Here we go. So many qualities of an E7, hey? 9, up to 11. Might be a big stretch there, remember. Back down to 9. Okay, and now 9, all those guys in a row. Your ducks in a row right here where my arrow is. Okay, 9. Pivot back, so now you've got 7, 9, 9. And again. Next measure, so now we're going to do 7 again. Here comes 9. And 11. Okay, 2nd line from the bottom. We're barring on that 9th fret now, making a lovely A chord. Here we go. Okay, now 12, 11, 10. 12, 11, 10. Okay, now position change. Got 9, 5, 6. Here we go. 9. And again. Okay, last bar of that line. 9, 7. And now we can drop down into that little baby bar. Bottom line now. 4, 4, 2. Now 4. Shift up to 5. Weird little bar. 2, 4, 2. Or something. Might not be a bar. Whatever gets you there, okay? A chord. Oh, I did it really slow that time. I want to show you guys what you can do there, right? You can do that. But we got to play it again. Section A or section B again. Okay, here we go. Stretch out those little fingers. Ah, yeah, here we go. Right here with the 401. Here we go. Your fingers might get really tired playing the second part. Just practice it after you've warmed up your fingers, you know. Okay, shift your finger up to that 2nd fret. Good. 5, 4, 2, or 5, 2, 4. Down to the 4. 4, 3, 4. Okay, back up to a 9, 7, 8 now. Here we go. If your hands are tired, don't worry, I'll cover for you. 9. It's a bit much sometimes, right? I like this one with all the 9s. I'm just picturing ducks in a row. I can't stop now. 9, 9, 9. Now 7, 9, 9. Okay, we're on the last bar of that line, so 7, 9, 11, 11. I used to hate that position. Okay, barring on your 9th fret now. Pinky on the 12. Here we go. Now 12, 11, 10. I definitely find this part a little bit more relaxing. Okay, now 9, 5, 6. Remember, you can just lay down your fingers as you need them, lift them as you need to. Here we go. 9, 5, 6. I'm purposefully lifting each finger after I play it so you can hear it. 9, 5, 6. Here we go. 7, 5, 6. 5, 5, 6. Bottom line now with the 4s. 4, 5, and then the 2. Okay, rest your hands for a second. I want to show you some stuff. Oops. Oh, yeah, okay, now. I clicked all the wrong buttons, so you got to listen to me click and look confused. That's what happened there. It's very nice. Okay, so coming down from here. You can do a lot without the barring, like if you need to go like that. It's totally cool, okay? I just try to get this finger ready ahead of time. You know, so you'll see like... I just try to hop in there real quick. And again, laying down fingers just as I need them. They only need to go down just before you pluck them, right? So that's pretty handy. In that song... I'm just looking at the sheet music, trying to find my spot. That 11, 7, 8. There it is. Okay. So you've got that in the first part of the song, section A. You've got this. Eleven, 7, 8, 8, 7, 8, 7, 7, 8. In the second part of the song, you've got me looking confused is what you have. Here we go. You got that same fingering, right? So I know it's a challenge in the first part of the song to get that. And then in the second part, your hands are fatigued reaching for it because you're probably playing in positions that you haven't done before. And Finn, what's he doing back there? Finn, what you do? What you do, Finn? No, just lining up. Anyway, when you play this sort of stuff, take your time. And if you have to lift your fingers as you go, so be it. You know, they'll get more relaxed as you play. That bottom line, where did I do that? I think it was here. No. Like, it's okay. You know, if you have to do that. Is it perfect? No. Do we care? No, no, no. You're learning all sorts of techniques, so don't worry about it. Now, what I want you guys to do is give yourselves a little stretch. Oh, yeah, yeah. Stretch those hands. Make a fist, and then shake them out. Okay? Because it's easy to get wrapped up into this, right? And for this hand, oh, your fretting hand, I want you to treat it nice, okay? I like to do the little stretch backwards. I don't reef on my hand, but I do give it a nice pull. You know, and it feels nice, right? It's important to take care of your hands while you're doing this. Anything you're doing, it's important to take care of your hands. Because you really, you know, you're stuck with the one set. You may as well take care of them. It's not like a ukulele where you can buy fresh ones. I do find I like doing this sort of stretch too, but I'm pretty gentle with it. And I like to massage right in here, you know, anywhere where there's any sort of stress. You can play this song, just the first section by itself. Sounds perfectly fine as a standalone piece, and it's often given just as section A by itself. But it's nice to know section B, you know, and pick away at it. Pick away at it. Take your time with it. You know, you're going to find some neat parts in there that you may be able to apply in other songs. For instance, this whole idea with this F shape. I use that like crazy. Because it's nice to have that nice bright sound on top. That C sharp there. You know, it feels like it's so sunny and perky. And then to go from that to a D bar chord, as opposed to a very different sound. I feel like I need to go like dance around my pond now. I'm just like feeling the perkies. But that takeaway right there, that would be one thing for me that I would take away in terms of different chord shapes from that second part of the song. Also, just the simple fact that you can make a little A bar chord up here. It's kind of neat. And it comes from that one there. Here comes a little bit of music theory, not a bunch. Comes from your C. And just doing, again, thinking just as 3 strings, I'm going to move my pinky up to the 5th fret and lay down my finger here across 2 strings. I might be able to stretch back really hard. It's not really, I can't really do it that well, so I'm just going to stay with that bar. There's your D. D sharp. E. Right, 5th fret is F. We had that in the first part of the song. F sharp. G. So on G, we're on 7, 7, and 10. So we're almost up to that A that we use in the second part. So G, G sharp, A. A, barring on the 9th fret, pinky's on the 12. That's the name of the chord right there. Okay, and you can also pick it up from here on that 3rd string. Okay, so then you've got A major 7, A7. And it's so pretty sounding. All these A's. Oh my gosh, they're everywhere. The song's so much fun to play. But I played the first part by itself for a long time. And it was fine. And there were times that I would also eliminate little phrases where my hands were too tired to play, but I just wanted to play the song. It all, you know, it's puzzle pieces. It comes together. So I say that because it's important to know that, okay, so for one thing, you too can play this song. And you can make your own arrangement of it. You can play around with it. Pull out bass notes that you don't want to play. Change the ending to suit what you want to play. Right? Make it yours. Okay, so that's the other thing too, is create your own arrangement of this. Have fun with it. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's going to give you some different ideas about chord voicings too, because of these different qualities of A chord that we get in that second section. And E7 as well, but I find I tend to harp on the A a lot because it's such a prominent sounding chord. And stretch your hands, stretch your shoulders. I would heartily encourage you to, if you have an accordion, Debbie, I'm just looking at you there. If you have an accordion, it's a nice way to stretch your shoulders because you tend to sit back and you play like this as opposed to this. That's what I've been doing with my baby accordion. Keeps me upright, playing differently. If you don't have an accordion, maybe you could get one. And then we could all also play accordion. Anyway, make sure you stretch those shoulders, okay, you guys? That's the most important part of that. And have fun. Have fun with the song. And what else should I say? I don't know. I mean, this is the last class until September because I have to go to the woods and take my little dog with me. I just have to. All right, I'm going to stop this recording now, and I'll see you in September.